Hi there, and welcome to another Sunny Days podcast at jollyville.com. That's JALEAVILLE.com. I'm your host, Jolly, and today we've got a couple of uplifting stories, some did you know facts, and more. So grab a cup of sunshine and let's get started. First up today, from Drexel and Honeybees, home of the city of Bruton, Alabama. Let's go ahead and meet Lisa and Freddie McMillan. They are the founders of this Alabama donations only restaurant that doesn't charge their customers. That's right, it's a donation only restaurant. Their only priority is to feed the need. That is why they exist Tuesday through Thursday. You can go in from 11 to 1 for lunch. The Macmillan state, since we are a donation only restaurant, the menu changes daily, but some of their specialties are our mac and cheese, meatloaf, and bread pudding. They started serving the hungry because they realized that many in their community, especially the senior citizens, were going hungry without food. Too often they were having to make a choice between food and medication. As someone who knows what it's like to be without food, they decided they didn't want to see anyone else suffer. So they started Clarissa Incorporated. According to their website, for a while they were a hot food delivery service when they served free meals at a local college and finally became Drexel and Honeybees. One day, while delivering hot meals to a senior citizen, they realized that not many have the luxury of eating out, and they wanted to change that. That's when Drexel and Honeybees was birthed. Not only have they continued feeding the hungry, but they have transformed the way they feed through their unique donations only restaurant model. When people come into the restaurant, not only are they fed, but a sense of dignity and community is restored. The Macmillans say many come and join us in person, but there are also those who have never stepped foot into our restaurant, and they call our community their community too. These are people who continue to donate to the cause and keep the vision of Drexel and Honeybees alive. We're all one family, feeding the need, they said, restoring dignity and building community, one person at a time. They have made the Restaurant Guru's recommended page for 2022 and 2021. Drexel and Honeybees has also been featured on Southern Living, Reader's Digest, and many more. Their mission statement is as follows: Welcome to Drexel and Honeybees Donation Only Restaurant, a place where everyone is welcome and where all can receive a free meal because of the donations of people in our community and around the United States. For those who walk into our restaurant, there is no cash registers, suggested menu prices, or any volunteer work needed in exchange for a meal. Regardless of your means, there is a seat for you at our table and a nice Southern home cooked meal waiting for you. Our only hope is that you walk away with a full belly and a renewed soul. Simply put on their website, our mission is to transform the way we feed the hungry. Our vision? To expand our reach and inspire others to open their own donations only restaurant. Well, thank you, Lisa and Freddie, and a happy shout out for Drexel and Honeybees. A very, very sunny, you're great shout out. And now a story we'll call Lucy the Hero. And it comes from Arlington, Arlington, Washington's police department as reported on their Facebook page. Just after 3 a.m., on a February morning, police department officers were dispatched for a reported structural fire. It was a 25 by 30 detached shop next to a residence. While the structure was burning, a neighborhood dog named Lucy barked, alerting our owners, who were able to call the fire department and help their neighbors extinguish the fire. The fire department arrived promptly and worked diligently to extinguish the flames, preventing any further damage to the property. But it was thanks to Lucy's quick thinking everyone involved was unharmed and the fire was successfully contained. There were no reports, by the way, of injuries to the firemen or any civilians. And the cause of the fire is under investigation at this time. Dogs are said to be a man's best friend, but sometimes they can be even more than that. Lucy is an Australian Shepherd from Arlington, Washington. The local news reports and the Arlington Police Departments have highlighted her heroism. Her owner's name is Douglas O'Connell II, and Douglas tells the story of his heroic fur baby and how the dog alerted her loved ones to danger. He sits on his couch and pets Lucy. He shares for the moment. Lucy woke him and his wife. Loud, screaming type barking. It was a totally different than her just barking like usual, he said. It was totally woke us both up. Something's wrong. Wow, she was trying to tell us something. To his surprise, the dog alerted them that there was a fire across the street. The fire was out of control at the shed and the fence, but the fire department arrived and put the fire out before it was able to reach the house. Douglas has raved about his precious dog and how the police officers and firefighters really loved her. Well, you're a real sunny days hero, Miss Lucy. And now, a jolly chat poem for today called Fur Baby Love. In the gentle light of dawn, they stir, our fur babies with hearts so pure. With eyes that gleam and tails that wag, they greet us daily, never to lag. Through days of joys and nights so deep, they stay beside us, our secrets to keep. Their love knows no bounds, no ifs or buts, a constant companion through all the ruts. In moments of sorrow, they offer a paw, their presence of balm, their love no flaw. With soft purrs and gentle nuzzles, they ease our burdens and they lift our struggles. Their playful antics a sight to behold, a reminder of happiness and stories untold. With them every day is a new delight, their company a beacon shining bright. For the love of our fur babies is pure and it is true, a bond unbreakable between us two. They teach us patience, kindness, and grace, and in return, our hearts they embrace. So let's share these creatures so small, so sweet, for in our lives they make our joy complete. A testament to unconditional love, our fur babies, a blessing from all who love. True, true. The end. And now, a sunny day's happy birthday. Shout out to a Miss Young at Heart. A couple of months ago, on January 9th, Miss Elsie Finch Hartman turned 102 years old. The Danceville, New York native and longtime West Spartan resident has lived a good life, a very good life. She enlisted with the United States Marine Corps in 1943, and after training at Camp Lejeune, she was assigned to a secretarial job at the Marine Corps headquarters in Arlington, Virginia. By the time she was discharged at the end of the war, she held the rank of sergeant. When Elsie was born in 1922, Warren Harding was president of the United States, and a dozen eggs cost 33 cents. As a young girl, Elsie would hike every day to Stony Brook to swim there. She always loved the area, and she always loved the area she was raised in. In high school, Danceville class of 1939, she met her sweetheart, Austin, better known as Mush. When she returned home after the war, they married in 1946 and remained married for a wonderful 65 years until his passing in 2011. The loving couple raised 6 children. 13 grandchildren followed, and 8 great-grandchildren followed after that. At last Christmas Eve service, Miss Elsie took part in the bell choir at the church there in Danceville, like she has for countless decades. So, what's her secret to such a rich and long, happy, lasting life? Says Miss Elsie. Just keep doing what you enjoy doing. Just keep doing it. A super sunny, happy birthday to you, Miss Elsie, and many, many more. And now, how about some did you know facts? Some did you know facts about daylight saving time. For instance, the way to properly say it, it's common to hear people say daylight savings time or just daylight savings. The correct term, however, is daylight saving time. Well, fun fact. Something else is it's a big misconception that it was Bill Franklin's invention, says Peter Geiger. He's the editor of the Farmer's Almanac. While Franklin is often credited with inventing the concept of daylight saving time as we know it, he merely suggested that the Parisians wake up and wake up earlier to save money on lamp oil and candles in a satirical essay that was published in the Journal de Paris, 1784. Wow, fascinating fact. Also, the time frame used to be different. In the United States, daylight saving time starts on the second Sunday of March and ends on the first Sunday in November. But that wasn't always the case, Geiger says. Prior to the Energy Policy Act of 2005, which went into effect in 2007, daylight saving time was observed from early April until late October. Is something else? It is not a worldwide or even a nationwide phenomenon. About 70 countries observe daylight saving time nationwide or in certain regions. Most African and Asian countries, including India, China, and Japan, skip the clock change altogether. Not all of the United States practices daylight savings time either. Hawaii and Arizona are on permanent standard time. As for Guam, America, Samoa, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. Interesting. And where did this start? Well, Germany was the first country to implement daylight saving time. Germany implemented daylight saving time in the 1960s to save fuel during World War One. The United States adopted this practice in 1918, 2 years later, but daylight saving time wasn't standardized across the country until the passage of the 1966 Uniform Time Act, which gave the federal government oversight over the time change. Hence how all that began. And now for some entertainment news. On the movie front, our feature movie of the week. This is going to be great. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. So far, just the backdrop of it. Um, in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the Spangler family decide to leave Somerville, Oklahoma, and go back to where it all started, the iconic New York City firehouse, and help the original Ghostbusters, who've developed a top secret research lab, to take busting ghosts to a whole new level. But when they make a discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force. Ghostbusters, new and old, must join forces to protect their home and save the world from a second ice age. Fascinating. If you've never watched the Ghostbusters movies, I describe it like this: Ghostbusters Afterlife. It is a supernatural comedy that follows a single mother and her two children who move to a small town and discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters. As strange things begin to happen in the town, the family uncovers the legacy left behind by their grandfather, one of the original Ghostbusters. With the help of some new friends, they must band together to save the town from the supernatural threat and uncover the truth about their family's past. The film pays homage to the original Ghostbusters while introducing a new generation of characters and exploring themes of family legacy and the power of belief. So those are about a couple of the Ghostbusters movie. You'll find one on streaming and the other one hits the big screen. Enjoy. I certainly look forward to watching those. And in the music world, a few artists and groups that are starting tours and a couple coming to an end in April or by summertime. Madonna began her celebration tour last October, and it comes to an end this next month. Madonna, who initially had to postpone the July 2023 start of her celebration tour as she recovered from a bacterial infection, kicked off her tour in London in October and will continue right on into next month when she stops here across North America. The Rolling Stone begins the Hackney Diamonds tour this next month. They'll go all the way through July of this year. It's been some time the Rolling Stones tour since the Rolling Stones have toured across the United States, but the band is set to play 16 cities across North America this year in support of their latest album, Hackney Diamonds. And Pink began her Summer Carnival 2024 tour this past month, and it goes through November of this year. Pink extended her latest tour for another year and will be making stops across North America, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe. Not only does she perform some of her biggest hits, but she also does some songs from her latest album, Trustful. And Mr. Rod Stewart began his tour this last month in February and goes through August this year. Rod Stewart is hitting the road again this year to play the biggest hits throughout his career. He'll be performing across the U.S., Europe, and Asia before bringing his long-running Las Vegas residency to an end this coming summer. Ah, sadness. And George Strait begins his 2024 too, which will run through excuse me, May through December this year. After a successful 2023 stadium show time, George Strait added additional shows for the new year. The country music star will be making his way across the U.S. for 9 performances with Chris Stapleton and Little Big Town. Beautiful music this year. So as we come to a close of today's episode, let's remember that the stories we've shared can serve as a reminder for the goodness that surrounds us every day. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So find your beauty, shine, and share it. Remember to spread love, joy, and positivity whenever and wherever you go. See you next week for some more stories, entertainment news, fun facts, and more. Until then, peace and love always. And thank you for tuning in to the Sunny Days podcast at jollyville.com. That's JALEAVILLE.com. Thank you.